We're about set for kickoff here. Our first quarter tonight will be brought to you in part by Beatrice, Kopp, and Harshman. Reputation, respect, results. Campbell kicking off to South Range. The Raiders will move right to left here in the first quarter as shadows begin to encroach from the far side of the field. It's a little squib kick scooped up at about the 37-yard line and out close to midfield. On the return for South Range is Tamer Graham, a sophomore.
Now, this South Range offense did very well last week against JFK, putting up 41 points. This is a team coming off last year's season where they averaged 46 points a game. When you return your starting tailback, your returning quarterback, and a litany of some other skill position players, marks for some good things to come back for this season.
And the Raiders start with good field position at their own 49 in white uniforms tonight. Pistol snap. They fake it to Alessie, a rollout and a flip out into the right flat to a wide open David McCabe, I believe. Yep, the fullback. That's his first catch of the year. And he takes it into Campbell territory down to the 36.
Love that play action. Onto the inside, allowing McCabe. I got into his route, cleared out that zone.
This season, he'll turn, give it to Alessie, who is lined up right behind him. Campbell penetrates and stops Alessie for a gain of a yard. If that, it will be second down and 9. Alessie gained 214 yards and scored 4 touchdowns in the season opener. We've got a Campbell player down early, and that's not good because they are not deep. They've lost a couple players to injury, especially on the interior. They've had a couple players pulled out from under them because of eligibility reasons. We don't know if those are academic or otherwise. Doesn't matter. And we have an injury timeout on the field in our first 30 seconds of play on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. The injured Campbell player still being tended to over on the just outside the far hash mark. Len, any clue as to the identity of the individual?
It is number 50, Zachary Rusnak. And Jim, not only is he a stalwart on the defensive line, he also is a guard on the offensive line. So as you and Mario made mention, when you have a small roster like Campbell has and you've already lost some players, you could ill afford to lose a starter like Rusnak.
And he is a senior. Our sideline reports, as always, brought to you by Armstrong. Armstrong On Demand, Armstrong Zoom, and Armstrong Phone. Armstrong One Wire. Infinite possibilities. Paul White is one of the possibilities as a replacement for Rusnak. He's a junior. Could also see Andrew Ventura, who is a sophomore. Rusnak will leave with some assistance. And as Len mentioned in his pregame remarks, on the hottest night of the late summer, hottest day of the late summer, Campbell has chosen to wear all black tonight, helmets, jerseys, and pants. Their numbers are dark red, outlined in white, but not by much. They'll actually be easier to see, I think, when the stadium lights are the primary light source.
Yeah, very unfortunate on that interior line, as we talked about. That is so prevalent, especially at the small level of schools with not just large enrollments and just not that many players out on the team. You start losing interior guys, linemen. That is especially where teams are won and losses in those trenches, and he will be a sorry miss, Will Rusnak, if he can't able to come back.
Second down and 10 from the Campbell 36. Wing left. Split left, actually slot left. They give it to Alessie, picks a hole, weaving inside the 35 down to the 31, where it will be third down and 5. So the interior run defense right now for Campbell, not bad at all. No gain, and then Alessie really had to use some fancy footwork to pick up 5 there.
Demi Gordon, number 1, came up from his safety position, playing very close to that line of scrimmage, got in there very early on Alessie, but wasn't able to wrap up on that initial strike.
So it is 3rd and 5, wing left and a split to each side. Actually, a double wing formation here. It really is like the old wing T. Handoff, Alessie again trying to pick his way through the middle. Campbell gets there, but Alessie keeps driving forward, and he is very close to and appears to have a first down. But again, Campbell got there, and they did, as Coach Rosum said in his pregame show, wrap up and do things fundamentally well, but Alessie had up ahead of steam, and he just took some folks with him.
Boy, Jim, and I think
McCabe?
Yeah, the sun coming right at us from the direction of we're facing, but I believe that was McCabe that was in there. Maybe Len can clarify that, but I think it was McCabe.
It was McCabe, and then Paul White, who has replaced Rusnak, actually was in on the previous play and made a stop and got his hands on the running back this last play. So Paul White asserting himself somewhat here as a replacement.
1st and 10 from the 26. That was the 10th carry of the 6th carry of the year for McCabe. This time it's Alessie going wide right. He's ankle tackled and pulled down near another first down around the 16-yard line. Be easier to see the yard lines, too. This is a natural surface field. It's in great shape, but the low angle of the sun right now is making everything a little difficult to see. Alessie got 9 to the 17. It'll be 2nd and 1.
Excellent blocking over on the right side by Kreidler, Dolak, and Finkus on that offensive line, just clearing out massive spots for Alessie to get up to the field, very close to a quick first down.
Slot left, split right, wing left, single running back behind Ryan Miller, turns, hands it off. It's Alessie, finds a seam right, slants, breaks a tackle, still on the move, and he's going to be down around the 10-yard line, perhaps inside the 5, and it will be 1st and goal for South Range, which last week pounded Warren JFK 41-21.
Boy, excellent pulling, delayed handoff off to the right side. McCabe, who was that inside slot back to the left side, the left guard and tackle both pulled over to the right, led by McCabe, sealed off that inside linebacker and allowed him to get up for that first down, very close to 1st and goal.
It is 1st and goal at the 1. Miller taking the spread snap, turns, hands it off. Alessie hit near the line of scrimmage, but surges forward. His momentum carries him into the end zone. Or was that McCabe again? Have to get a clarification.
I believe that was McCabe.
So that would be his 2nd touchdown rush of the year. It comes from a yard out, and South Range has the early lead. And they're letting the clock run.
Yeah, we're not 30-0 yet, buddy. There's no continuing to run the clock, but nice block by Evan Schaefer, the center for South Range.
And the thing is, with the extra point off the foot of Jonah Wilson, good. Everybody was looking to the opposite end of the field from the scoreboard and didn't notice the scoreboard, which now has stopped with 8:27 left to play in the first quarter, and South Range leading 7-0 on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. It is time for our first Haas Auto Group scoring drive summary of the night. And it is a 51-yard, 7-play, 3-minute and 6-second opening drive for the Raiders. A lot of the work done by Joe Alessie, with fullback David McCabe scoring from a yard out. And now Campbell Memorial will get the football for the first time on offense. They'll open up with Stefan Elash at quarterback, Terrell Neely at fullback, Aaron Jackson at tailback, Edgar Toledo will be the wingback. The tight ends will be Mike Williams and Jordan Cuevas. The tackles will be Paul White and Devin Rogers. Andrew Van Jura will be one guard, and we may see Jacob Mistovich at the other if Zachary Rusnak cannot go. Will Morris, a senior, will be the center. They've got the, well, you know what? They're putting time back on the clock.
And you know what? Because they basically lost. There was about 13 seconds. I wonder if this early in the game, if one of the coaches was really going to make a big deal out of the 13 seconds that ran off after the McCabe touchdown. But apparently someone felt it was important enough to catch that 13 seconds and put it back on.
So it goes to 9:08, and that changes the time of that drive to 2 minutes and 48 seconds. And Here is the kick, high and short, caught at the 30-yard line, and the return guy is going to come to the near sideline for about 2 yards. But Campbell will have decent field position itself on its opening drive. The return man there was Edgar Toledo, the wingback.
And the manner with which South Range kicked it, very high, not a deep kick at all. So Campbell will start off in some good field position. We'll see if they can take advantage, much the way South Range did on their opening drive, to come down a little bit over 50 yards and get that first score. So
ball on the right hash mark. This will be a predominantly running attack because so many of these players are young and or inexperienced. Even some of the older players haven't played much. There's a turn, handoff. Penalty marker flies. The ball carrier, Aaron Jackson, and he didn't get anything. They'll probably wind up going backwards. We have no stats on Campbell, among other things. Len, you trying to sneak in?
I just wanted to let you know that Zach Rusnak is starting at offensive guard. So good for him, good for Campbell. He's back out on the field, guys.
All right, thanks very much, Len. Another Armstrong sideline report. The flag has been picked up. Aaron Jackson did not gain anything, and it will be 2nd down and 10. Campbell, the ball now inside the left hash mark at the Red Devils' 32-yard line.
Elash being one of their lone returning starters from last year for Campbell.
He's under center with a pair of backs behind him. 2 receivers to the right. Turns, hands it off again. Jackson with a little seam off right tackle, and he puts his hand on the blocker in front of him, and as he goes down across the 35, 2 flags fly in. Maybe a late face mask. Or a hold.
Yeah, but Lynn,
it's a shame to hold at that point because the play is basically over. It is a face mask against South Range.
And as you mentioned, there was a little bit of a seam over on that right side. And what Coach Rosem is doing with their offensive Campbell, lining up in an I formation, utilizing a tight end, which is kind of a dying fad now in the high school level, with everyone basically going to spread, given their still running option, a lot of running, but everyone's basically doing a spread formation. This is pretty old school, getting a quarterback, Elash, under the center, lining up in tight end, utilizing tight sets in your wide receivers.
Ball back on the right hash. It was a 5-yard penalty, and it leaves a Campbell in a 2nd and 1, they say, on the stick. They give it to Jackson again. He nose back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. 41-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1 coming up for Campbell Memorial here. A reminder to visit the Stadium GM Superstore High School Sports webpage. Check out the players of the game, team of the week, scores, broadcast plans, and more. It's all at 570WKBN.com. Click on sports.
Going against the grain a little bit, trying to go to that wide side of the field. They basically had left Ben Baird, a 6'2", 185-pound senior, open to the short side of the field. Left him alone, basically left him alone. He came all the way around from the backside to bring the back down for Campbell.
3rd and 1, slot right into the short side of the field. That's the right. Backs are split close behind the quarterback, Elash. Little broken play. He was looking for somebody to hand it to. Nobody home, and he'll be dragged down back at the 35-yard line.
Wow, what penetration. Mario Bazzacco, underclassman, 5'11", 200-pound junior, got in there very quickly for South Range, and it was appearing they went to that split back with the one back farther over to the short side of the field, and it was almost a veer where Elash tried to fake to the fullback, countered around basically in a circle, trying to go option back to the wide side of the field, but Bazzacco got in there very quickly.
2nd and 1, and they couldn't make it. It was a 4-yard loss. The punt is high, coming toward the near side, bounces short of the 30, takes a sideways bounce, and then a roll to the right, down to the South Range 30. Raiders get it back, leading 7-0 with 6:32 to go in the first quarter of the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. As we come back into action, a South Range pass on a little boot is completed to tight end Greg Dunham, his 3rd catch of the year. And From the 30, the ball advances to the 44.
Very simply, Dunham was lined out inside the slot, and the wide receiver, Nick Stanton, just cleared out the cornerback. And I love the way Miller and the coaching staff of South Range balancing it out with a little bit of short passes and some runs.
Quick handoff. Elash got a seam, breaks a tackle. He's free on the far sideline, cuts to his left, headed down the far side. He's at the 15-10-5 touchdown.
Excellent run, delayed handoff off to that right side. Wide receivers blocked down. Really didn't get touched for about 10 yards. And then once he got to about the 30-yard line, an excellent downfield block. And a lot of long runs are set up by how well the wide receivers continue to fight in their blocking scheme downfield. And that's what happened with Greg Stanton. Sealed off the block and allowed Alessie to go for the score.
All right, so South Range has quickly doubled the lead, or has come very close to it anyway. Extra point attempt by Jonah Wilson out of the hold of Ryan Miller is on the way. Plenty high, plenty long, plenty good. 6:10 left in the first quarter, and South Range has broken away to a 14-0 lead on Campbell Memorial on 570 WKBN. For another Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary. And that was just a 2-play drive that covered 70 yards, a 14-yard pass completion, and then a 56-yard touchdown run by Joe Alessie, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. And that's your Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary. See a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles at Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren on Route 422. And as South Range prepares to kick off, whistles blow.
I wonder if that's going to be a delayed game, do you think?
You know what I find interesting? There's a guy standing at the goalpost to our right holding up a post. I thought originally he was measuring the height of the crossbar.
What he was doing, guys, that's how they take game film these days. He was holding a camera in his hand, and the controls are down where his hands are. It's almost like working a joystick. So that's the video cameras that they have now.
Wow. That's amazing. Okay. It's a good shot of the extra point, I'll bet. Field entirely in shadow now for all practical purposes. Sun starting to hide behind a cloud bank. There's a very high, very short kick. Bounces at the 35, gets away from, and then is recovered by the receiver there. South Range obviously hoping there maybe for a quick turnover.
Boy, very smart by the Campbell player to go down, and that was Joe Heilman, I believe, number 21 of Campbell. Very smartly, didn't try to advance the ball. Smartly just grabbed the ball, got down to the ground, and allowed their offense to get back out on the field. And I love the way South Range is really not even giving Campbell the opportunity to get some of their skill position players into space with any type of momentum.
So Campbell, again with good field position, will start on its left hash mark at the 35-yard line. Offset eye right. Elash to throw. Has some time. Steps up in the pocket. Runs into one of his blockers. Now turns, fires near side. He's got his man at the 40. 45, 47-yard line. Elash with a great job of buying himself some time and getting the ball. Is that Aaron Jackson that made the reception?
Yes.
It was Jackson, because Edgar Toledo was out there as well. He bumped into his offensive lineman, tackle Paul White, but he got the job done. First down at the 46.
And there was some excellent protection that time by the Red Devil offensive line as Elash continued to keep his head up, looking downfield, and then eventually Aaron Jackson got out into the flat as things started to break down. Basically, he had about 4 seconds back there, and that's pretty much an eternity for a quarterback to find someone.
First down, split backs, handoff, hit right as he gets the football, and being dragged sideways for no gain, popping out after the whistle blows is fullback Terrell Kelly, but that will go as a no gain. Ball remains at the 46, and it is a 2nd and 10.
Heading to that short side of the field where teams typically try to run because there's one less defender. Ben Baird, who made the tackle, has been in on numerous plays tonight for that South Range Raider defense. He was the man who stopped the fullback right at the point of attack, basically for no gain. But he went off the field holding his left arm. So we'll have to get an update from Len maybe on what happened to Ben Baird.
Mario Pizzacco is the primary backup defensive end, we're told. Backs in an eye this time. First man through, squirting through, and getting into the secondary, into South Range territory, and down close to the 32-yard line is Terrell Neely.
Some super blocking by Will Morris and Andrew Van Jura, an underclassman sophomore for the Red Devils. Just a simple, quick hitter. I mean, that with Elash, the quarterback of the Red Devils, under center, and basically his fullback right behind him, maybe one step. That quick hitter, if the Garden Center can just open a little bit of space, that's what you get, the big hitter.
Campbell Memorial on the move. The rest of that defense for South Range, the other end is Nathan Daniszewski, a sophomore. Mario Pizzacco and Pierce Baird are the tackles. So if Pizzacco moved down to end, Evan Schaefer probably would step up. Fake handoff. Blitz coming. Elash escapes, finds a man. He's got Jackson at the 30, spins to the inside, down to the 20. Stiff arms his way away from another tackler and is finally pushed out of bounds by McCabe down at the 17-yard line.
Jim, our first opportunity, and Len, our first opportunity to really get a chance to look at Elash over the last couple of years. Comes out very elusive young man, felt the pressure. South Range had got in a rusher very close to him, but he stepped up, eluded very well, and hit Jackson again out in the flat. And then it shows why they have skill position players that really, when they get into space, they can create some opportunities for this Red Devil offense.
And we are getting a timeout here with 3:58 to go in the first quarter. I think we've caught up on our business, so let me just let you know at this point something I'm sure you're probably aware of, that Nightline Embroidery and Screen Print provides official shirts and jackets worn by Clear Channel Radio broadcast crews, as well as our Player of the Game and Team of the Week shirts. First ones of those Team of the Week shirts presented yesterday to the Girard Indians. You can put Nightline to work for you. Stop in on West Liberty Street in Girard or call 545-8108. You know, the thing we're talking about, Elash's mobility and elusiveness. Here's the thing that is surprising to me on this drive. He has had a long scramble that turned into a completed pass, and an inexperienced line has not had anybody downfield. They've been very disciplined up there.
Yeah, their timing to not get downfield, you're right, Jim, that you hit it. And for Aaron Jackson, both times was able to just wait and be patient, not run away from his quarterback. Be patient, stay in an area where Elash can find him.
It's a quick injury update. Ben Baird is on the sidelines here. They're working on his left elbow. And Zachary Rusnak, again, his knee injury is bugging him. He's on the sideline right now, looking to try to get back in, but right now he is not in the lineup. Jim?
All right, thank you, Len. Another Armstrong sideline report.
And unfortunately, I believe for the Campbell Red Devils, they're going to get a timeout here. Devin Rogers, their freshman offensive right tackle, he's come out of the game.
Well, not good for Campbell, losing two linemen in a unit where they're already very thin. Coach Rosum could only give me two backups for the entire offensive line. If we have to go any deeper than that, not a good thing. And Devin Rogers is a freshman. He's a true freshman. And Coach Rosum says he has come a long way in a short time, and he thinks that by the time he completes his senior year, Devin Rogers can be a very special player. Hey, if you'd like to win a Sheetz gift card worth $100, I'll bet you would. You can get a chance to do that by participating in the 50-50 drawing at 570 WKBN high school football local broadcast locations this season. It's sponsored by Sheetz, home of the Sheetz My Card.
Significant. Jimmy, one of them is the banner that says John Naffick Field, the legendary coach here at Campbell, who has over 170 wins to his credit, nobody even close to him. And the other one is a WPA sign, 1936, which was Workers Project Association. And Jim, I'll give you one more tidbit on that in a second here.
All right, as we get ready to come back into play, I backfield on 1st and 10 for Campbell from South Range 17. It's the fullback again. Looked like he was going to pop through, but The South Range defense comes up, makes the hit just short of the 13, so about a 4-yard gain for Terrell Neely, rather. Len?
In our area, this field, Struthers football field, and Oakland baseball field. Quite a lasting tribute to those gentlemen way back in the 30s and what they did. Jim, Mario?
That is. That's quite a... How about... there were two other fields that were built in a very similar fashion. I'll think of it in a minute. Handoff, Aaron Jackson, the tailback, and he's only going to get a couple down to the 12. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 5. Wow, now I can't think of the names of the two fields. The one over on Midlothian. Yeah, Ipes, because that was built with a very similar structure, and the one also on the near south side there.
That would be Gibson Field.
No.
Not Gibson?
No, the one where they, I don't know if they still do or not, but they used to have the NABF and the Connie Mack World Series there and all. Yeah, there you go. Almost identical in many ways to what you mentioned. There's a quick toss. This is Jackson trying to get wide to the right. He's going to get inside the 10, but he did not get the first down. He had to get to the 7. It will be 4th and 2 from the 9.
And right now, Coach Roseman is going to have a very difficult decision here on what to do to try and get this first down here or to try and kick it. But I imagine they're going to go for it. But this is a tremendous confident builder, and I like the way that they've balanced it with Elash, Neely, Jackson, and this offensive line has really come up. And they've taken some time off the clock. And that's the other thing. You gain confidence just by being out there, getting some plays, getting some first downs, and build upon it.
All right, they go slot left, tight right, backs in an I. Elash under center. 4th and a long 2 outside the 9. Elash will turn. He'll give it to Jackson, who pounds into the left side of the line. He will not get the first down. Actually, they're going to give him more forward progress than I thought. This may be close enough to require a measurement.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. The young man, Pierce Baird, all 6'2", 250, defensive tackle for South Range at that nose position in that 3-4 defense, held very strong at the point of attack, and they're not even going to take a measurement on that, Jim.
No, he got 1, so the ball turns over to South Range with 1:25 left here in the first quarter, and the Raiders already leading 14-0, but they will start from deep in their own territory. Jackson held to a 1-yard gain there. He's been held to just 9 yards in 6 carries.
It would seem the screens, something out to the back, something into the flat, anything, even a couple of toss sweeps. There's been a lot of these just straight isolation where you're just handed off, trying to go off tackle.
All right, South Range from the 8. And again, they'll do a spread snap. They double slot formation, single running back. And that is coming out of the backfield, breaking a tackle. It's Alessie. He's free, coming to the near side, 35, 40, 50. He's got a man to beat, headed down the near sideline. No one will catch him. Joe Alessie, a 92-yard run that included a broken tackle not too far upfield. I see no flags, in South Range with another big play makes the scoreboard blink again.
And the wide side cornerback for Campbell is that Alessie was about 20 yards downfield. He peeked inside. He got too close to the inside hash mark, didn't keep that outside contained to try and force him towards the backside linebacker and the safety coming over for help. And then really Alessie in South Range just showing incredible speed tonight. Anytime they get even close to Campbell defenders in foot races, they are just putting it on them, and the stretching ability of their backs to create space, tremendous.
We're going to get maybe a delay of game here against South Range on the conversion attempt. Actually, it looks like an illegal participation. We have too many guys on the field.
Well, they're looking at each other, but I think they only have, they got 11 guys out there.
Nope, they're picking up the flag. The official admits his mistake. Not a math major.
That happens every once in a while. Guys, Ben Baird, a quick update. They have wrapped his his left elbow. His helmet is off. It looks like, at least for the time being, he's going to remain on the bench.
Yike. Now we're going to get another whistle. This one coming from the side judge, and somebody was offside.
And it was Elash who was trying to come in from the right side, just jumped the snap a little bit.
You just declined this. There's no point in taking it. 1:08 to go, first quarter. Joe Alessie already with 2 touchdown runs, one of 56 and one of 92. Extra point, a line drive this time, but it is good. 3 for 3 for Jonah Wilson tonight, and South Range leads 21-0. And the Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary, very short, a 92-yard run on the first play after taking the ball over on downs at their own 8-yard line for South Range. And it only took 17 seconds from the time they started the clock for Alessie to cross the goal line. That's your Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary. Ask about the Toyota no-cost scheduled maintenance plan and 24/7 roadside assistance at Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren on Route 422. The Ducat halftime scoreboard is part of our high school football Friday night broadcasts. It's presented by Ducat Sales and Service, which has equipment for all seasons. Ducat on Route 224 in Boardman and on Route 422 in Warren.
Jim, I would be remiss not to mention Travis Bernard, 5'5", 200-pound offensive guard on that left side, and Ryan Simpson, who just did a great job of kicking out the linebacker and sealing down the defensive tackle, allowing Alessie to bounce and get that long score.
South Range goes for another short kick. It is high and short, taken at about the 27. Are they going to say somebody called for a fair catch? I think they are. The catch was made by Edgar Toledo, and they will mark it at the 27-yard line with 1:06 to go.
And the young man was Michael Jones, underclassman for Campbell, a junior. He's the young man who thought the ball was coming to him. He fair catched and basically stopped everything.
All right, they're actually going to mark it. Well, they are going to mark it at the 27-yard line on the right hash. Campbell moving left to right.
Well, guys, I got to tell you, this field down here, like you said earlier, Jimmy, is absolutely gorgeous. It's in great condition. Mario, I think you need to hire the groundskeeper at your landscaping company.
Well, I got to tell you, the biggest factor this year was Mother Nature. Mother Nature provided ample moisture.
Even my grass looks good. Handoff to the fullback. Penalty markers fly. Struggle still going on with Terrell Neely trying to get some forward progress. They finally blow the whistle after a gain of about 2. Clock stopped to deal with the penalty. Let's see what that is. You know, I wondered why things were getting unusually dark. The sun, now they're going to pick that flag up. That's the 3rd time tonight they've picked the flag up. Anyway, the sun did duck behind it.
I mean, will that be a replay now?
No, they threw the flag, but they didn't blow the whistle.
Okay.
So it's 2nd and 8. The sun ducked behind a cloud bank briefly, and then, so it wasn't shining very brightly, but I still have my sunglasses on, so. 2nd and 8, Campbell from its own 29. High backs, slot right, play action fake to the fullback. Elash will scramble. 30, spins to the inside, and gets out to the 35. Nice run and puts him in position to convert here on 3rd and 2.
Boy, and the unfortunate part, I mean, the good part for Campbell is they did get positive yards, and Elash was able to turn it up. The unfortunate part, and Edgar Toledo, the wide side receiver out of that I formation, he was in the receiver set. He ran basically a short drag across the middle, basically behind those linebackers who had frozen, and then when Elash stepped up into the pocket, they jumped him. Edgar Toledo was wide open across the middle, could have just kept in there a little bit longer.
That turns out to be the final play of the first quarter, which was brought to you in part by Beatrice, Kopp, and Harshman. Reputation, respect, results. 1 quarter in the books at Campbell Memorial. It's South Range 21, Campbell Memorial nothing. This is the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. second quarter of action from Campbell Memorial tonight. The Red Devils will change ends here. Well, so will South Range for that matter. They'll be moving right to left, and they will be in a 3rd down and 2 from their own 35-yard line as we start the third quarter, with South Range out in front 21-0. But it has been Joe Alessie that has the difference. He already has 178 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing in the ball game. He also had a 16-yard run earlier, and quarterback Ryan Miller has hit 2 passes, one for 15, one for 14, and they've gotten a little help from their fullback as well. It's been an efficient offensive unit. Campbell's defense actually on a couple of plays did a really nice job inside against the run, but they've gotten stretched now. Split backs, slot right. Elash turns, gives it straight ahead, still pushing the pile out across the marker and across the 40 to almost the 41-yard line. A powerful run by,
I believe it was Demae Gordon.
Neely, the fullback. Okay.
Neely. And by the way, Ben Baird is back in the lineup at defensive end for South Range.
And the line splits for Campbell in this running attack, with them trying to just go a power formation and just attack that defensive line of South Range. Their splits are so close, and that's the distance between the linemen, how close their feet are together. Really tight splits for Campbell.
32 yards rushing now for the fullback Neely, 5 carries. There's a little play action misdirection. Elash scrambling his way to the edge on the right side out to about the 45, but multiple flags fly behind the line of scrimmage, and now a late flag as there was no pushing or shoving, but some words being exchanged between a Campbell player and a South Range player. We've also got a helmet off. That's Elash, whose helmet has left his cranial area.
I'm not really sure what that first penalty flag was, but the second one is on Rusnak. He's coming off the field. He got into it with Ben Baird and pushed him right before the official saw that. Well, actually, when the official saw him, was looking right at him, and that's the second flag. So we'll have to see what the first one is.
And Rusnak limped off. He is still not playing on 2 healthy pins there, so we'll have to see. My guess is that we don't know what the first flag was. That'll determine whether or not the play is accepted or not. And then there'll be a penalty either way. Campbell's already walking backwards, obviously, but
I would be stunned if it wasn't a holding or a chop block.
Which means this could be an immense penalty after getting out to the 41-yard line.
One of the few times that Campbell's really broke formation-wise, lining up in basically a T formation, trying to option their way at. Elash, the quarterback for the Red Devils, made a very quick read, trying to go to that quick hitter, pulled the ball out of the belly of the fullback, and then read very quickly that South Range was over pursuing towards the wide side of the field, quickly just bounced to the outside, the opposite way.
All right, they've collected all the laundry. Let's see what the deal is here. Holding against Campbell.
And that's going to be a dead ball personal foul.
And then a personal foul. So this is going to be a huge penalty.
I saw ejection. Did I just see ejection, Len?
Check on that. In any case.
I will check on that and see. I'll tell you here in a second.
He gave the old thumb. The referee gave the personal foul and then gave the thumb. Like he's out.
He's looking for a ride home.
I think he just did that. He just motioned that. I believe, yes, that.
I believe Rusnak might be done.
And he was already gimpy after going down early in the ball game. The penalty takes the ball all the way back to the 15-yard line.
And not only that, if I'm not mistaken, I think if you get ejected,
you miss another game.
You miss the next game. Much the same way it is in high school basketball.
All right, well, they have to get across midfield, so they are in a 1st and 36. Actually 35. I believe they're respotting the ball at the 16. This is a deliberate crew, I will say that. Nope, right at the 15. So it is 1st and 36 from the 15-yard line. Campbell offense not built to overcome that kind of a challenge. Handoff in the backfield, little shake and bake. Jackson trying to work his way to the outside. He's going to be grabbed around the shoulders and rolled down after a gain of about a yard.
And Jim, I think we also have a change in quarterback. I believe Darian Jones, number 9, stepped in at the quarterback position. I mean, it's very difficult to tell by the numbers because it's kind of dark on dark. Is that what I saw, Len?
He did, and he has come back out, and coming back in will be Elash, number 2. Yes.
2nd and 35 now for Campbell. The main thing about the Campbell offense right now is it's going to be pretty vanilla, and the main reason is they aren't very deep, and they got a lot of guys who haven't played much football, and they just need to learn basics, learn execution, recognize defense. In easy terms, their football IQ has to increase. That's not to say they aren't smart kids, but you learn about the game. It is. It's like learning any other subject. It's you acquire knowledge, and that's what they're doing right now. Carry there by Neely out across the 20 to the 21, a pickup of 5, but it's still 3rd down and forever.
Jim, to that point, I will mention this though. The power set, when you're trying to basically out-athlete someone, out-physical someone, it's very difficult when you don't have the personnel to basically try and combat physicality against a program of South Range's nature when you don't have the numbers. I'll get back to that.
Elash will roll right, throw upfield, got a man. Edgar Toledo had it go off his fingertips. Not an easy catch. It was a little bit of a floater and a little bit high, but he did get his hands on it. Goes incomplete, and it will be 4th down and very long for Campbell. That's the first pass incompletion by either team tonight, although we've only seen 5 balls in the air.
And it's unfortunate, though, because that was an opportunity that Toledo had the ball in his hands. I mean, that's a play you need to make, need to come down. They call a play to get their young men to be successful. Elash gets it in the area to just catch it. You've got to bring it in to at least get downfield. Even though you don't get the first, you at least set your punter up to get more distance.
Punt is away. It's a short kick and comes to the near sideline and out of bounds near midfield. 9:19 to go as the clock ticked one more away. In the first half, South Range getting the football, leading 21-0 on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. South Range taking over in Campbell territory, and off play action, a roll to the left. Ryan Miller hits Greg Dunham. He's on the run, far side of the field, and he will get through the traffic, negotiate the traffic jam, and into the end zone. We are going to have I don't see a flag though, do you?
Jim, I think he got very close to the out of bounds marker at about the 8-yard line.
And
did not score. He went to the...
You're right, they're marking him out at the 8. At the 7, actually.
Wow, South Range, if there's anything I can say, I mean, South Range with the ability of Miller and Coach Yeagley and their staff letting loose a little bit of Ryan Miller and his skill set, his ability to pass. Dunham, I love the way he caught the ball, running in traffic in stride. That will be the biggest difference, will be Miller's ability to throw.
And here on a sweep around the left side, and this time into the end zone on the run, it is the fullback, David McCabe. So he and Alessie have both scored twice now on the ground. That touchdown set up by good field position and a good pass catch and run that got South Range deep into the red zone. And the Raiders now take a 4-score lead.
Alessie, being a great runner that he is tonight, showed tremendous ability on the block that time. Out of that split back, side saddling, Miller got out and really gave a good block, allowing McCabe to get the score.
And And the extra point, 4 for 4 for the young kicker. He's actually a senior, recruited off the soccer team in his first year with the football team, Jonah Wilson. And with 9:02 to go in the first half, South Range has now opened up a 28-0 spread on Campbell Memorial on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. South Range ready to kick off. This time it is an end-over-end, much deeper kick, hits around the 3 and bounds into the end zone, a touchback. Campbell will take over. The latest Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary. 2 plays, 49 yards, an 8-yard touchdown run by South Range fullback David McCabe. The 2 plays took a total of 17 seconds. And that's your Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary. Get information about vehicle inventory, financing, service, specials, and more online at toyotaofwarren.com. Tonight's Campbell Memorial Football broadcast being brought to you in part by Wasco Funeral Home, which promotes your participation in planning your loved one's funeral. Wasco Funeral Home is the official sponsor of Campbell Memorial Red Devils football here on 570 WKBN.
Boy, and it has been big play central tonight for South Range. They are hitting on all cylinders, utilizing the passing game, some underneath stuff. I love the way Miller challenged with Dunham, the wide receiver, coming across that middle, just utilizing the whole arsenal here tonight for the Raiders.
Interesting, too, because Coach Yeagley was very concerned about the athleticism, speed of Campbell Memorial. Screen batted down in the backfield, and I hope that young man didn't catch it.
He did.
He did, so he should have just batted it down himself, because it goes as a completed pass and a loss back to about the 13-yard line. And I think
that was Jacob Mistovich that caught that, number 71.
The good sign is a completion, though. Oh, that's awful. I'm sorry. No, Elash, though, he felt the pressure, tried to roll slightly over to the right side. The bad part was, though, I didn't like as he tried to throw the ball, and the play setup was nice because they were trying to run a screen out to the outside. The lineman just got in too quick for South Range, though.
And it is 2nd and long, coming wide to the left and diving forward just to barely get to the 15-yard line is Aaron Jackson, the tailback. So that was a pickup of just a couple, and it will bring up a 3rd down and 15.
Tamer Graham, sophomore, 5'10", 170 for the Raiders. Outside linebacker. Not a lot of underclassmen usually start because it's typically so senior, junior oriented, but a sophomore, Tamer Graham, getting in the field, was strong at the point of attack, and then allowing the safety, Zach Thorpe, the senior, to come in and finish it off.
3rd and 15 from the 15. Ball on the left hash. We're approaching the 7.5-minute mark in the second quarter here at Campbell, with the Red Devils trailing South Range 28-0. Offset eye right. Quick snap. Elash drops to throw all the way. Curling to his right. Now steps up. Eludes a tackle. Evades another one. Crosses the 15. Up to the 20. Into traffic. And down just short of the 25-yard line. Short of the first down, but a nice scramble by Stefan Elash.
And that's where it almost seems to be where Campbell is going to be the most successful. At this point, until Rosem really starts to, as the years go by, and he could get these kids into the weight room, and not to say that Coach Secor didn't get kids into the weight room, but to get people back reinvigorated in Red Devil football, get your numbers back up. You can utilize that physical brand of football that he wants to use. But at this point, it seems like Elash playing a little playground football seems to be almost the best way.
4th down, and Campbell's going to call the timeout. We will call it with the Red Devils and the Raiders. Jim Campbell with Mario DiMartino and Len Gessler from John Nappick Field in Campbell. We're at South Range 28, Campbell nothing on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. Second half cramping issues, and they'll certainly be a danger tonight as it cools and players cool down a little bit at halftime. Local State Farm Insurance agents sponsor this season's High School Football Team of the Week award. Visit 570WKBN.com to check out the weekly winners presented by State Farm agents, including Steve Jones of Youngstown. Punt, not a bad one. Down to the South Range 40 and rolls dead at the 36.
Which, I mean, and I would be remiss not to mention, this state, it's been years since we've been here, since they redid Campbell's High School. This stadium is crazy nice. Literally, for the people who haven't been over to a Campbell game in a while, but as a facility, the way it sits, the structure, I mean, it is a tremendous facility.
You know, when they bought it, when they refurbished the stadium here, the idea was to make it a facility good enough to host playoff games, but that was before the proliferation of artificial surfaces. They've got a great grass surface, but that's going to probably keep them, unless it's a first-round home game, from hosting playoff games. There's a pass out into the flat, low, and it hit the turf, scooped up again by, let's see, out there that time was for South Range.
Zach Thorpe, I believe.
I think it was Nick Stanton, 25, was it not? Anyway, it hit him in the hands around the ankles and then touched the grass. So that is the first incompletion for Ryan Miller.
And unfortunately, Jim, that one falls on Miller, riding out of that pistol formation. That's just a quick try to get the wide receiver out there very quickly, get him into space, try and make him elusive against that cornerback. He's got to throw that ball up a little bit higher. Didn't give his receiver time to be successful.
So running back to each side, split right, slot left, hands it off to Alessie, crossing in front of him, going wide left, gets by a seam, bounces off a tackler, penalty flag flies in the secondary as Alessie goes out of bounds down around short of the Campbell 40-yard line. Tonight's high school football broadcast here on 570 WKBN is being brought to you in part by Pizza Hut, the Area Agency on Aging, Farge Construction Materials, Pharmacy Care, Quaker Steak and Lube, Emmons IGA, Valley Truck Outfitters, Zinn's Selection and Design Center, Valentino Realty, and Northeast Ohio Adoption Services.
Face mask I gave against the Red Devils, and I think that's going to be the personal foul variety.
Down to the 29. So
awful. Yeah, that's the 5-yarder is where you just get your hand on the face mask, but don't use it as a means with which to bring down the ball carrier. The 15-yarder is going to be the personal foul variety, where you engage it and continue to hold it to use it to bring someone down.
So that will go as a 20-yard pickup plus the penalty. Miller with a quick roll to the right, hits his receiver down the right side, out of bounds. Could be a late hit there. No flag thrown. The receiver on the play was Greg Dunham.
Boy, and it was so close. That sideline judge, he was like kind of rubbing by his butt over there looking for that flag. He was so close to throwing that for being out of bounds, being a personal foul towards the out of bounds, but then didn't end up calling it. And I love the way Miller got the quarterback for South Range, got into his roll very quickly. I like the way he keeps the ball up near his shoulder, doesn't bring it down by his belly, keeps it up, keeps his head up, looking downfield.
16-yard pickup, first down at the 13. Miller with a play-action fake. He handed it off to Nick Stanton, crossing in front of him, went through with the throwing fake, and then Stanton, as he got wide left, about ready to turn it up, tripped over the yard line or his own shoelaces and goes down at the 15 for a loss of 2.
And there was great blocking coming from that outside, and that's the first time they've basically run that wide receiver coming across, where you're just getting everyone out in front of him, and he's in full motion coming across the face of that quarterback.
All right, so Campbell South Range lines it up again. Alessie to Miller's right. 2 receivers to each side. Miller takes the snap, looks right, throws right. Stanton on the slant, hit as he approaches the goal line and bulls his way in for the score.
Stanton runs such a crisp route. The wide side receiver, the inside slot one out of that 4 wide receiver set. He took a hard inside cut. Stanton followed in behind him. Miller gave a slight look to that inside and then drilled that ball in a place right up by the numbers where Stanton could catch that ball and continue in full running motion into the end zone.
So Stanton, who actually wasn't listed by Coach Yeagley as a primary offensive contributor, as here in this drive. And he's a kickoff return guy, but he's not listed on the offensive 2 deep. Of course, with Baird banged up, that could account for that. We got movement up front. We've had 2 flags here before they can kick the extra point.
Are they offside again on that extra point? See, See, that's just ridiculous. I mean, when you're jumping offside, now that's the second time this half that Campbell has jumped offside, and I believe both times it was Stephen Elash off on the wide right side trying to get an extra jump.
Extra point, hooking to the left, but sneaks inside the upright. 5:23 to go. First half, and South Range having its way with Campbell Memorial leading 35-0 on the Baird Brothers Friday high school football game of the week. Let's see if we can give you another Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary. This time, South Range kind of takes its time, goes 64 yards in 5 plays, but they used only 1 minute and 13 seconds. It was a 15-yard pass play between Ryan Miller and Nick Stanton that put the ball in the end zone. That's your Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary. See a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles at Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren on Route 422. Kick is away. Fairly deep, taken on the fly at the 7 on the far side. Up the far side, cutting toward the hash and getting out to just short of the 20-yard line. The return man for Campbell, I believe, was Jordan Dukes.
Boy, Jim, and there was some rough blocking at best for Campbell as the kickoff cover team was coming down for South Range. Just kind of watched the middle of that core as the ball was heading down, and there was nary a hit on a lot of those South Range defenders barreling down towards that receiver of Campbell Memorial.
About a 13-yard return. Campbell takes over at its own 20-yard line, so just like getting a touchback, except they couldn't risk that since the ball was going down the far side. Actually, had it hit and bounced toward the sideline, they might be at the 35, but can't take that chance either. Elash will go under center, toss to the right. Jackson looking for running room, spins to the inside, now reverses behind the formation, turns it up across the 25-30, in the middle of the field, across midfield, and on the run, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Aaron Jackson with an electrifying ad-lib run, and Campbell Memorial is on the scoreboard.
Simple toss sweep to the short side of the field. South Range over-committed to that side, and the only person left on the backside on the cutback was number 25, Nick Stanton. He was the lone defender, and then Aaron Jackson put on a very nice move on the cutback, sliding back inside and then nary the pursuit. Austin Kelly tried to give pursuit from the backside cornerback, but he couldn't even touch Jackson.
So an 80-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage in that possession. That ought to give the Red Devils some life. They'll line up to go for 2 here. Offset eye left, Elash under center. And it looked like it was going to be a quarterback draw. South Range sniffs it out, and Elash will go down with no progress toward the goal line, and the score will remain South Range 35, Campbell 6. The Ducat halftime scoreboard is coming up in our halftime report. Find out what other teams in the area are doing, courtesy of Ducat Sales and Service, Route 224 in Boardman and Route 422 in Warren.
Tried to go option on that 2-point conversion, and I feel Elash gave up on the play a little bit too early. Well, what does that mean, he gave up on the play? As he was faking to that fullback on the inside, and it's basically his read to either give to the fullback, continue through to maybe either pitch out to the halfback or continue over to the right. What had happened, he had earlier success on that play where he cut back very quickly after faking to the fullback. The guys for South Range stayed at home and immediately grasped them.
Well, if you are enjoying listening to this game, you can watch it all next week, starting Tuesday evening at 7:30 on Armstrong Channel 20 and 100. Check your guide for other air times during the week. Our thanks to the folks at Armstrong for asking to use our team's audio. Armstrong, of course, not just this season, but for many years, the sponsor of our sideline reports on all our Clear Channel sister stations.
I got to tell you something about Armstrong, though.
Be careful.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
It's literally, if you ever got a cable line, one of Armstrong's cable lines,
yeah,
it literally seems like there's an Armstrong guy like 40 seconds away, ready to patch a line. Well, it's unbelievable.
They got lots of trucks. Little squib kick down to the 28. Grabbed and returned by Peyton Remish, and he comes down, spun around at the 36-yard line, and that's where South Range will start this possession, and Campbell's got another player down.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's almost as if someone is standing around the corner waiting for you to break one of their cable lines so they can get out there and fix it in an instant so you can get back to Zoom. Injured Camel player.
Or one of their many services, which we illustrate throughout our broadcasts.
Camel can nary to afford to lose any more young men. They already have Zachary Rusnak, who got kicked out of the game in the first quarter, so they are woefully hurting on personnel, and everyone that goes down just cuts into that depth even more.
And he was playing gimpy after getting a leg injury of some type early in the game, and came out, and then went back in, came out, went back in, and he was obviously in when he committed a personal foul that resulted in his ejection. And that will be, as a senior, that will be a lesson hard and well learned. Coach Razum is a big believer in the fundamentals, playing the game the right way, and that's not to say other coaches aren't, but he makes it very simple that this game is about working hard, doing things the right way, being fundamentally sound, and that's not any of those things. Young man for Campbell getting up late is Antoine Carver, a freshman in there on special teams.
Going so far to get this 35-6 lead. South Range offensive line. We've talked about Alessie, McCabe, Dunham, who's played very well tonight. That offensive line, if it wasn't for their ability, their cohesiveness here early on in the season to create space for all these skill position players, this 35 wouldn't be up there.
South Range comes out. Short side of the field is to right. They've got two receivers slotted inside a wide guy. They're going to split left. Alessie crosses in front of the quarterback. McCabe gets the ball on a counter play to the right, skids across the 40-yard line. That'll be a pickup of almost 5 for the fullback, David McCabe, who himself has scored twice tonight, although gaining only 14 yards, now 19 in the process.
Boy, on that little bit of a misdirection, Terrell Neely, who is also the fullback playing the nose tackle for the Red Devils, got in very quick. End up getting the wrap on the South Range runner.
2nd and 5 from the 41. This time two receivers left, a wing left, and a split right. Running back behind Miller is Alessie, gets the ball, hit behind the line of scrimmage, and Campbell does a good job getting 4 guys to the ball and pulling Alessie down for a short loss. It'll bring up 3rd and 6.
Josh Dittman, defensive tackle, along with Terrell Neely, getting off the ball very quickly. And what does that mean? It's from the time that center first does that fast little twitching ball up there and goes back into that pistol, it's how quick you can get off that line of scrimmage and engage in between the gaps of the offensive lineman or engage an offensive lineman.
3rd and 6 from the 40. Miller takes the snap. He will roll to his left. Right-hander launches it upfield, and it's picked off by Aaron Jackson at the 48, returning it into South Range territory inside the 30-yard line.
That's just, Jim, you're going to see this. You're going to have a personal foul. A tremendous interception that time by Aaron Jackson. Was in space. Ryan Miller threw very late for South Range across the middle, trying to get it to Stanton on a little bit of a drag route. One had run outside, one had run inside. Jackson stepped in, got the interception. But the young man, I believe it's Joe Heilman of Campbell Memorial, he's going to have a personal foul on him. I would be stunned if it's not, for late hitting one of the South Range wide receivers who was down.
So it was the interception, the first thrown by Miller this season, a 20-yard return to the South Range, 28. But the penalty flag flew at the South Range, 42. And so the march-off will come from there.
And that's the thing that Coach Rosen has got to be livid over, because you get a break. Obviously, Aaron Jackson came up with a huge touchdown, gets a confident builder on the offensive side on the long run. Then on defense, you get the interception. So you get the quick turn. You get the ball back. You get a chance to get your offense. And then the personal foul penalty was just stupid.
It winds up being about a 34-yard penalty. Instead of starting at the South Range 28, the Red Devils start from their own 38.
Awful.
Perhaps a sin of enthusiasm. Little shift to an offset eye left. 2 wideouts that direction. Elash will roll that way. Has some time. Slings it upfield. Almost broken up by Stanton. And then it was Edgar Toledo who almost made an over-the-shoulder catch off the deflection. Again, a ball maybe a player with, well, I'm not quite sure what his experience level is, but that was a ball that could have been caught. Not saying it was an easy catch, because the defender was right there. It's tough to keep your concentration, but the ball did come right over his shoulder and land in his arms.
Yeah, and you're right, Jim, but I got to give a tremendous amount of credit. Elash threw a very nice ball that was catchable, but Nick Stanton made a tremendous break on the ball when that ball was up in the air.
There's a running play right up the gut. This is the fullback, Neely. Again, we don't have sizes, heights, and weights of these players. Neely, I'm not sure what he would be listed at, but he's tough. He runs hard, and they let him do the dirty work inside, and he's doing a nice job.
When a young man who's been on a lot of plays on that inside tackling, Neely, as you had mentioned, at that fullback position, Mario Bazzacco playing very well. Is the underclassman junior, getting in there, 5'11", 200 pounds, just getting up underneath those offensive linemen. But this is a workable third down.
It is 3rd and 5 from the 48. I want to correct myself. The initial line of scrimmage was the 43-yard line and not the 38 after the penalty. 3rd and 5. Elash with 2 wideouts to his left, split backs behind him, and we got a delay again.
Delay a game, or was it motion on one of the offensive linemen?
I saw the back judge, just fold his arms. So,
and that's self-destructive behavior. You talk about the interception that Jackson got for the Red Devils, and then you get a workable third down, excuse me, close to midfield, and then you get the delay of game. So you set yourself back 5 yards. You're already not in a position to be a fast catch-up type of team, and then you do self-destructive behavior.
So it is 3rd and 10 now for Campbell. They will go slot right, offset eye right, everybody else in tight. Elash goes back, little delay, and a rush back out to about the 48. So it'll be 4th and 5. I'm assuming that was Jackson on the carry. Surrounded by white jerseys early, so it's tough to pick up the number coming out of the backfield. Actually, it was not. It was Isaiah Williams on the carry, and he got 5.
Number 50, Brandon Stanley, at 6'2", 245, got in very quickly into that Campbell Memorial backfield, and he's got something on his right arm, and I'm going to date myself a little bit. If anyone remembers offensive lineman for the Oakland Raiders, a former head coach of the Oakland Raiders, also Art Shell, how he does big paws, like big, it looked like a club. His arms literally look like clubs. Stanton is wearing that type of club on his right hand right now.
Campbell lined up to go for it in 4th and 5 at its own 48. With only a minute 30 to play before halftime and down 35-6, maybe not a fatal gamble. Now, however, the Red Devils have called a timeout. Maybe they saw what South Range lined up in defensively, and they're going to try to counter that, maybe with a different play out of the same formation. Maybe they're going to reconsider their options about throwing the football. We haven't heard from Len for a while. You still alive and kicking down there, bud?
Yes, I am, as a matter of fact. And if you guys remember, it hasn't been that long ago, Jim and Mario. The last time we saw Campbell was actually in the playoffs in 2010. We followed them down to Martin's Ferry, where they beat the Purple Riders 7-0, but then they lost to Akron Manchester the following week. So, tell you what, not that long ago, Campbell was right up there with the elite in the state of Ohio. How far they've fallen right now the last 4 years, guys. Jimmy?
Another sideline report presented by Armstrong. One wire, infinite possibilities. It's hard to believe it was that long ago, actually. I sort of remember that game halfway decently. It was a real dogfight. We had to drive down along the river to get there.
Martin Ferry, a beautiful facility. First of all,
the press box wasn't great, but they treated us awesome. Campbell will punt, and it is a good one. End over end, away from the receiver, Stanton. It'll drop and bounce inside the 20 to about the 19. Nicely done.
There's been very few kick opportunities to return for South Range. Campbell's kick coverage, kick return blocking has been lacking a little bit, but their kick coverage on punts and kickoffs has been pretty well.
South Range will get the ball at its own 19 with 1:20 to play. And here's the thing about that punt game so far for Campbell. They're not getting those high hanging spirals that look so beautiful in the air, but sometimes wind up being returned forever. They're very effective. They're kicking away from the returners, getting a nice roll. Alessie gets a first down handoff, trying to sweep left, steps through a tackle, and then steps out of bounds as he gets to the far sideline, apparently short of the first down. Campbell with good pursuit there, and I think despite the score, what we are seeing from Campbell is illustrative of what Coach Rosum said a couple times in his pregame interview. We will not quit. We're going to play from the opening whistle until the last one. And that's what they're doing right now. That was an 8-yard pickup for Alessie. Off to McCabe, and he is going to be corralled in the backfield and thrown for a loss back to the 23.
Boy, a young man who's been in on the last two plays, playing like a banshee. Number 24, Mike Williams of the Red Devils, as a stand-up outside linebacker to that short side of the field. They've gone after his side twice in a row on the first down play against Alessie. Instead of really going for the tackle, though, he went to try and cause a turnover, went for one of those slap down where you try and get the ball, but got Alessie to the out. That time got upfield penetration, stopped for no gain.
We're down to about 30 seconds to play before halftime. Ball marked at the 24, so it was a loss of a couple and brings up 3rd and 5 for the Raiders. Handoff straight ahead. Alessie hit at the 30, almost shook free, but the young man who had him around the ankles wouldn't let go. And I think it was Josh Ditton who made that play. It is a first down at the 31, but the clock stopped with 14 seconds left while they moved the chains. Alessie over 200 yards rushing already.
And they're just going to let this one go, Jim, into halftime.
And the first half does come to an end. Campbell Memorial showing some signs of life in the second quarter with a long touchdown run, an interception, and some grittiness. But they do have a big hill to climb in the second half as we reach intermission. South Range leading at 35-6.
Bigger smiles, louder cheers, longer talks. Enjoy the possibilities more than ever with Armstrong. Armstrong delivers the latest in television, on-demand, multi-room PVR, high definition. Zoom Internet has the speed and reliability you need for all your devices. And it's all backed by local award-winning customer service to keep you connected. Enjoy the possibilities with Armstrong.
Armstrong Local Programming features our community like no one else. Meet your friends and neighbors at special events. Find the perfect pet. Celebrate our region's rich history or enjoy our natural wonders. Armstrong Local Programming is available online, on demand, and on your local Armstrong channel. Find the complete program schedule at armstrongonewire.com. Local programming, exclusively from Armstrong. one wire, infinite possibilities.
South Range is ready to kick off to start the second half, so we'll continue the scoreboard as we can. End-over-end kick will drift down to about the 7. Received cleanly out across the 15. Little seam, 20, 25, 30, and on the run is the return guy across midfield. It's Aaron Jackson. Breaks an ankle tackle. He's down the far sideline at the 20, and he'll go the distance. Aaron Jackson, 93-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
What blocking, a perfect wedge for the Red Devils created over on that right side. A nice kick, though, from South Range to get it down there. Plenty of air underneath, and what a run. Weaving in and out did Aaron Jackson to get Campbell right back on the scoreboard.
That is a big lift for the Red Devils. A 93-yard kickoff return for Aaron Jackson, who also accounts for Campbell's other score on an 80-yard run from scrimmage. Speaking of scores, let's continue our Ducat halftime scoreboard. Lakeview leads Struthers 14-0. Champion trails Conneaut 27-0. East leads University School 14-6. Columbiana over Leetonia 24-6. McDonald 13. Springfield Local 0. Campbell getting ready to go for 2, but Stefan Elash really upset that he couldn't get a play, but he's fortunate because the officials didn't have a football, so he caught a break there. Also on the scoreboard, Lisbon 21, Mineral Ridge 0. Lowellville 22, Wyndham 0. Western Reserve leads Malvern 13-7. It is West Branch 7, Crestview 0. Rebels struggling a little early. East Palestine having one of its best nights in a couple of years, leading Matthews 38-8. We'll catch you up on the rest of the scores after the two-point conversion. Elash with a straight T backfield, turns, gives it to his fullback Neely, and he will be stood up at the 1 and not get in, and it will remain 35-12. Finishing off our halftime scores, Jackson Milton 15, Newton Falls 6. United Local leads Salem 20-6. Streetsboro ramping on Southern Local 35-0. It's Brookfield 14, Independence 0, and Indian Creek and East Liverpool are tied at 6. And that is the Ducat halftime and early third quarter scoreboard. Be ready for winter. Yeah, I know it was 90 today, but it's coming. Be ready with a Toro snow thrower from Ducat on sale now. Ducat, Route 224 in Boardman and Route 422 in Warren. And we have entered our third quarter, brought to you in part by Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Baird Brothers now stocks pre-finished hardwood flooring.
And if anyone remembers last winter, it was wicked awful, so a lot of people could have used a snowblower from Ducat.
Absolutely. Got one myself.
You know, that goes to show right there, Coach Rosem, in his interview halftime with with Lenny, that, you know, no quit. The team just comes out, gets the kickoff, believes, and, you know, it just comes right out and gets that score. So it's a tremendous confidence booster. But the problem has been not so much moving the ball a lot for Campbell. It's been their ability to stop this South Range offense.
Well, I think any coach would tell you when you're down 35-6 at halftime, you better take it one play at a time. Here comes the kickoff. It's a squib right up the near hash. Big high bounce, grabbed at the 33-yard line, slanting into the middle of the field, out to midfield, and just beyond for South Range is Nathan Daniszewski, who makes most of his football living as a defensive end.
Very nice return that time from Daniszewski, getting it, setting up for South Range in some excellent field position. So they're going to have a chance to combat that kickoff return that Campbell opened the second half with.
About an 18-yard return, and South Range will start in Campbell territory at the 49-yard line, just inside the right hash, moving right to left. Ryan Miller is the quarterback, David McCabe the fullback, Joe Alessie the tailback, who gained 212 yards and scored 2 touchdowns in 10 carries in the first half. He'll get the first carry of the second half. He's grabbed by the arm, but pulls away in the backfield and works his way to the near sideline and into the Campbell Memorial bench inside the 45-yard line.
Boy, Jim, and Isaiah Williams, underclassman junior for the Red Devils, tremendous job of getting some inside pursuit against that South Range offense had an opportunity to probably make about a 2 or 3 yard loss, just couldn't close the tackle, but his ability to get in there and at least cause some disruption shows a good sign for Campbell.
Slot right, short side of the field, wide out to the left. Alessie behind Ryan Miller. Fake delay handoff, little throw over the defender and overthrows the fullback David McCabe, and it will bring up a 3rd down and 3. Miller in the first half was 5 of 7 for 101 yards, a touchdown and 1 interception. South Range outgained Campbell Memorial unofficially 327 yards to 166 in the first half. 226 on the ground to 146 for Campbell. Campbell with 20 passing yards and South Range with 101. Campbell's leading rusher was Aaron Jackson, an 80-yard touchdown run, helping to give him 92 yards in 9 carries. A little bit of a, well, it started out as an option. Alessie gets the handoff, gets the corner, and is bumped out of bounds far side easily with the first down around the Campbell 28.
Stretching out that offensive line, really moving people off that line of scrimmage, 3, 4, 5 yards downfield before a first initial Campbell defender getting it on that stretch handoff. And Alessie, I like the way he shifts hands mid-run, shifts to keep the ball away from defenders, and then just bounces. And Campbell going for a lot of hits, but not a lot of tackles.
Running back to either side of Miller this time. Gives it to McCabe crossing in front of him. He goes to the far side, makes a right-hand turn up the sideline inside the 25 and down near the 20-yard line. That will be pretty close to an 8-yard gain for David McCabe, who carried the ball 5 times for 16 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. They'll mark it at the 21, 7-yard pickup for McCabe.
McCabe and Alessie, their backs have very good football speed, the ability to read, show quickness, make some cuts, and then I love the way that they finish runs.
2nd and 3 from the 21.
Guys, Aaron Jackson from Campbell suffering from cramps on the sideline.
Here we go. Fake to Alessie. Miller rolls right, throws underneath, got his man. It's McCabe, 10, 5, touchdown. Made it look easy.
Wow, tremendous. Getting McCabe out into the flat, the linebacker. And the strange part is they bid on the play fake up the middle. And then as Ryan Miller, and threw a very catchable ball on that slight roll to the right, McCabe just came from that wide side, underneath, across the linebackers. No one flowed with him out in the flat. Just wide open, and then a tremendous block downfield by a downfield receiver, and I believe it was Zane Kreidler, did a great job of sealing off the corner to allow McCabe to get in.
Now this is a big extra point, and Campbell not converting after its touchdowns is a factor too. We now have, with the extra point, a 30-point spread.
What's that, Matt?
It's now 42-12. Do we not get a continuous clock now?
We do, young man. Explain what that is.
We'll find out more when we continue on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week.
We love how people react when they visit our home.
They're floored by our floors.
Our authentic hardwood floors are stunning.
They instill quality in every room.
Our secret? Baird Brothers.
Baird Brothers' fine hardwoods and products reflect the Baird family's heritage of American craftsmanship.
Experience Baird Brothers' huge in-stock selection in person or online at bairdbrothers.com.
Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
No one wants to make return trips to the hospital. That's why the Area Agency on Aging can help you better manage your health upon discharge. Our care transition coaches can be found in hospitals throughout the Mahoning Valley. To learn more, ask for a coach at the hospital or call us at 800-686-7367.
For every $75 or more you spend at Nemens IGA and Struthers, you'll receive a free 12-inch pizza from Make a Mia Pizza inside Struthers Nemens IGA.
Quality, selection, and value. That's Nemens IGA.
The Mahoning Valley's News Radio. 570 WKBN, Youngstown.
As we come back, Campbell fumbles the kickoff and gives ground, losing ground on that, and will start from deep in its own territory at the 12-yard line. We are now on a continuous running clock, except on penalties, change of possession, injury, that kind of a thing. Because of the new mercy rule, any time the difference between two teams is 30 points or more in the second half, the clock will run continuously until such time as the gap is less than 30 points. Second week in a row, we've run into the rule. Stefan Elash hands it off to Jackson, who goes forward, runs into a wall of white jerseys, bounces backward, tries to circle to his left, and winds up flat on his back at the 8, a loss of 4.
Boy, outside linebacker J.R. Renforth, another underclassman for Coach Yeagley's South Range Raiders, showed tremendous ball pursuit on that counter. The running back took a step one way and then tried to come back with the pulling guards back towards the right side, and Renforth was right there to bring him down. And it's just a little bit of a difference, and I touched on it earlier, the difference in tackling or hitting. Campbell has gone for a lot of big hits and some time to try and strip the ball. South Range has been very fundamental in trying to just bring carriers down and utilize other men to bring them down.
2nd and 14, split backs in close behind Elash under center, tosses it to his tailback, has a little seam. There's a penalty marker down as I believe Neely was the ball carrier. It was. Terrell Neely gets out to around the 15. We will see what the flag is here as the clock continues to run. We have a penalty against Campbell. Our latest Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary: 49 yards, 4 plays, a minute 14 seconds for South Range.
And this is bad. I think someone on the sideline got a personal foul against Campbell for talking to the sideline judge.
Well, you know, Len is standing right there. Len, you didn't. You didn't. You are wearing a black jersey, sort of.
Well, I guess they could blame it on me. Actually, I didn't hear anything said by anybody, so if it was said, then this official has really good ears.
Yep. It was the personal foul, Jim. And I believe, I mean, I was kind of watching it. It was the gentleman, he was jawing a little bit to the sideline referee, and it's going to be a personal foul against Campbell. And that's very unfortunate when the fans...
Is that a dead ball? It must be.
Yeah, I mean, the hangers-honors, the people on the sideline that, you know, for whatever reason, they're there and they're jawing, and you're hurting your own team.
No, it's not a dead ball foul. The play doesn't count because the down has not changed. But it is 2nd and long. High backfield this time. Quick hitter attempt to the fullback Neely. He'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Boy, playing again, very strong at that point of attack again for South Range. And that Renforth really playing very well here in this third quarter. And again, we're in a running clock here, Jim.
So we're already down to 6:35 to go in the third quarter. Actually, a loss of a yard there. So
the ball carrier on that play was a number 7, but we don't have any 7 on our roster, so I'm not sure who that was.
All right. Well, could be a number change, I suppose. But all right, 3rd and long. Helmet comes flying on a running play to the left, and it was number 7 again. I wonder.
Point again, J.R. Renforth, his 3rd tackle in a row for South Range, came up very big, and actually one of the South Range defenders had actually lost his helmet on that play.
It has a 5-yard pickup, but it's 4th and very long for Campbell. And Len, you're on the right sideline to see maybe if you can pick up an identity, if it's just a jersey change or something of that ilk, but Campbell will have to punt out of its own end zone. Line drive. That was the first bad hit. It's going to line drive right up the hash mark and roll dead very quickly at the 44-yard line with 5:24 to go in the third quarter. Continuous clock on the move with South Range leading 42-12 on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. Call the timeout here on defense. South Range taking over the football at the Campbell 44 after that line drive skidding punt up the hash mark. You could win a gift card worth $100 by entering the 50-50 drawing at 570 WKBN high school football local broadcast locations this season. The gift card giveaway is presented by Sheetz Convenience Stores, proud to sponsor local sports in your community.
Jim, that is a number change. It is Sean Copeland, who is number 20 on our roster. He is wearing number 7.
And in either case, didn't show up on the depth chart. So we'll make note of that.
We weren't extended here. Timeout, Campbell.
Right. That was a sideline informational update, courtesy of Armstrong. Armstrong Zoom, Armstrong Phone, Armstrong On Demand. No wonder they say one wire, infinite possibilities.
Boy, and a lot of the ones are still in for South Range. Trying to get some more reps, just get some time after the, they were basically, South Range was in the same situation last week against Warren John F. Kennedy and new coach Jeff Bayek, where got up very early, and you at this point you're very good. You're playing some overmatched teams, but you don't want to run it up, but you still want to get your young men opportunities to get reps out in game situation.
This is the argument that people have for the continuous running clock. Some say that it should be maybe a little larger point spread so you can allow your starters to get that game time, Mario.
Wing right formation. Miller runs a stretch handoff to a new running back, and that is J.R. Renforth, whose name's been called a lot on defense, and Renforth blasts around the right side, inside the 40, down to the 30, just inside the 36, a pickup of 8.
Boy, and a tremendous lead block that time by number 68, Derek Fickus, 5'10", 210, one of the new offensive linemen, a senior, waiting their turn, getting their time through the program, and then getting their opportunity in their senior or junior year to get out there on that field and continue this Raider tradition.
Renforth is the single setback behind Miller. Takes a straight ahead handoff here. Finds a nice little seam off right guard and center and pounds down to the 30 in a South Range first down.
Junior J.R. Renforth getting his first opportunity at that tailback position for South Range. Hit up there very quickly. He was in on numerous plays on Campbell's first offensive possession.
So he's picked up 14 yards and 2 carries. Tonight's Campbell Memorial Football broadcast being brought to you in part by Wasco Funeral Home, owned by Campbell natives Bob and Jackie Wasco. Wasco Funeral Home is the official sponsor of Campbell Memorial Red Devils football here on 570 WKBN. Double slot formation, and Renforth to the left of Miller. Man in motion in front of Miller, takes the ball. Headed around the left side, near the sideline, and a flag from way back by the back judge is thrown in near the point of the tackle. It was Nick Stanton on the carry.
And again, we talked about, and there's a young man, I believe, is there a young man down on the sideline? You have a South Range Raider, a little bit slow getting up, and I believe it was the runner on that play, number 25, Nick Stanton. And we talk about how well they do at finishing their run. What's that mean? Well, it's when they engage contact, continuing to keep those legs driving, trying to go for extra yards. All those yards end up adding up totally at the end of a game. Just those hidden yards, the special ones continuing to run through tackles.
5-yard pickup there for Nick Stanton, his second carry of the game. It's well, we got it 1st and 5. And this is Renforth picking his way through the middle, spinning to the right, free, down inside the 20, inside the 15 to the 12.
Boy, and Isaiah Williams for the Red Devils, he made some good inside pursuit and just happened to miss, I believe it was Renforth on that run, just basically ran by him. Didn't get a chance to wrap him up and bring him down.
And we've got a Campbell Memorial player down. Timeout on the field. Clock does stop here with 1:48 to go in the third quarter. 42-12, South Range out in front on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. High School Football Team of the Week Award online at 570WKBN.com. It's presented by local State Farm insurance agents like Steve Jones in Youngstown. Jim Campbell, Mario DiMartino, Len Gessler at Nappick Field in Camel. Got another Camel player down. It's one of about 3 that have been really slow to get up tonight. One of them, a starting offensive and defensive lineman, Zach Rusnak, went down. Returned to the game. He was in and out a couple of times, and then finally on a personal foul penalty was ejected from the ball game. And we've had a couple of other players shaken up, including Aaron Jackson, who has an electrifying 80-yard touchdown run and a 93-yard kickoff return for a touchdown to start the second half.
Yeah, between Neely and Aaron Jackson, really some explosive players. If they can get them out into space and the ability to turn into some good yardage and some breakaway plays. I mean, Camel has the players that can do it. They just need to get that cohesive unit, that up front group. And with Rusnak being out, obviously that has hindered the Red Devils vastly. Starting a freshman at right tackle in Devin Rogers, who looks pretty big. We don't have a height and weight because we weren't provided with that. But a really big kid in Devin Rogers.
And again, if you weren't with us earlier, Coach Razum told me that he said the kid's a freshman. He's made a lot of progress since coming to camp. And he says by the time this kid finishes his senior year, he should be a whale of a football player because he has already made a lot of progress, has a good work ethic, and does what they like to do. He practices hard, plays hard. So might be a name for local folks to keep an ear for, and maybe even down the road some decent recruiters if he turns out to be the type of physical specimen size-wise that would create.
Guys, this is Josh Goodman, number 55. He had a cramp, and he's still walking very gingerly over to the near sideline, so trying to work that cramp out if he can.
He's the other defensive tackle, and he got up very quickly as soon as they brought the cart out. Did you notice that? It says, cart, me on a cart? No way, man.
I'm going to hobble off this field. I'm walking.
I'll go off one-legged, but you're not wheeling me off. So, all right, so they're really thin now at tackle with both Zach Rusnak and Josh Dittman down. Andrew Von Jura and Paul White are the listed replacements. It is 1st and 10 for South Range at the Camel 12. And a new quarterback and a handoff in the backfield and hit right at, actually behind the line of scrimmage and taking a loss. The new quarterback is Devin Fickus, a 155-pound junior. The ball carrier was J.R. Renforth. And he loses maybe a yard. So it will be 3rd and 3 from the 13.
Boy, and Braden Scott, underclassman for the Red Devils. Very nice job of getting upfield, some deep penetration, making that tackle for loss for the Red Devils.
Well, you know what? Somewhere along the line, something has gone amiss. They say it's 2nd and 11. Snap, turn, fake to Renford. Fickus rolls right, and Sean Copeland is right there in his face to pull him down at the 20.
And he had time, the quarterback, as he rolled to that right side, did Devin Fickus. It was just a case where the wide receiver, Tamer Graham, got a little bit too locked up with the near side cornerback, had excellent coverage, just didn't get into his route and get that curl route or the out route set up very good, and then obviously the defense closed in very quickly on the quarterback for South Range.
So it is now 3rd down and 17, ball back at the 20. Makes it actually closer to 3rd and 18 because I think they got to get to the 2.
There is some divine intervention down on the field for Campbell here, and I'll tell you in a second here what it is.
You may not have a second. Clock running at 3. And the clock has expired, but a penalty flag flew first. Now what? Quick, Len.
Yeah, that's going to be a offside on Campbell. I thought I heard this, and then I shook my head, and he did say it. The young man, number 22 for Campbell, is Jesus Cuevas.
So it's not Jesus.
It is not Jesus. They actually said Jesus Cuevas.
Okay. All right, 3rd quarter is officially over, though. 0's on the scoreboard. It stops there. Runs continuously pretty much otherwise. Each team scores once in the 3rd quarter. And with 12 minutes of football left, it's South Range 42, Campbell Memorial 12 on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. Recap of tonight's action. Listen for the A&M Total Restoration post-game report. Chris Durkin, Joe Lucenti, and your friends at A&M Total Restoration. 330-507-6220. And, of course, we'll be selecting an O'Charlie's player of the game and interviewing him live on the field in the A&M Total Restoration post-game show. Made possible by O'Charlie's Restaurants in Boardman and Niles. And our third quarter tonight was presented in part by Baird Brothers, fine hardwoods, traditional craftsmanship, timeless style. We get ready to begin the fourth quarter. The clock has already started. It is a third down. Have they just spotted the ball? No, they have not. It is third down and about 12 from the 15. South Range moving right to left. Option toss. New running back. Gets to the right side. Tries to cut inside, but is grabbed and spun down short of the first down. I believe this is how deep they're getting into the depth chart. Peyton Remish, a freshman, got that carry.
Boy, and that's the first time that Coach Yeagley and the Raiders have run option tonight. And Devin Fickus, the new quarterback coming in for Ryan Miller, wonderful job of just getting it out of that pistol formation, making a quick step to the right, engaged, wait till the last moment till that defensive end or outside linebacker engaged him and really put a shot on him, flicked it right at the last moment, got it to the freshman.
There was a late hit on the near sideline here, but they're going to pick the flag up, so evidently they've talked about it and it's not worthy of marking it off.
Boy, it's been a very penalty-filled game tonight.
Yeah, it is. It's more like you'd expect out of a week one performance. That was a 10-yard pickup, but it leaves South Range in a 4th and 3 at the 5. Ball on the right hash mark. Clock is running again at the 10:43 mark. South Range up to the line of scrimmage with junior Devin Fickus taking over at quarterback. Out of the spread. Has a running back behind him. Gets the football straight ahead. Little bit of a seam, driving to the goal line and falling in. It is Peyton Remish with the touchdown. Campbell got good penetration, but Remish, a diminutive sort at 5'9", although he goes 170, squirted through and got the score.
Very well schooled as he got the ball from Fickus, the new quarterback. Had both hands grappled over the football, and as he got in towards that 3-yard line, just kept burrowing in to get to that score.
So another extra point attempt coming up here. South Range a man short on the conversion team. Jonah Wilson so far tonight is 6 for 6. Boy, it's nasty when your holder is late. He gets in, though, takes the snap, puts it down. Wilson bangs it through. And with 10:22 left in the ball game, it's now South Range 49, Campbell 12 on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. Misleading because of the running clock here in the second half, but that was a 44-yard, 8-play drive that took 7 minutes and 2 seconds. Your latest Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary. Kickoff fielded at the 37-yard line. A quick surge forward before the coverage gets there on the short kickoff and drills the returner. And Campbell's going to call a quick timeout. Clock is still running. Once you call a timeout, you got to stop the clock. Lost about 5 seconds there. Even the home clock operator is going for this. Let's keep it running with the score at 49-12.
Wow. Yeah, that's something. But it's been an interesting game. And I think both of these teams, with Campbell being very young and Coach Rosem trying to really implement his system, Obviously things have changed a lot in the last, I imagine it's been probably 8-9 years since Coach Rosam's been his last tenure. And last time he was here, they were 10-1.
Yeah, a lot has changed in many ways, and that's true in a lot of places, not just at Campbell Memorial. Here's the thing that the Campbell Memorial kids, I think, have working for them in this situation. They know that on 3 previous tenures, Coach Rosam has stepped out from wherever he's been and turned the program around. I remember the first time he took over, they were on, what, a 38-game losing streak or something like that? It was the longest active losing streak in the state of Ohio, I think, when he took over. He got the program turned around then. He got a second shot, got it turned around again, got a third shot, took him to the playoffs. So if they're open to listening and following directions, they've got the right guy to listen to, because he's proven that he can do it, and especially he can do it in Campbell. So I would think if they know anything about Campbell Memorial's history, he will have their ear. If they don't know about that history, somebody needs to school them pretty quick. Okay, Campbell will start. Darian Jones, I believe, is checked in at quarterback. He was in for one play in the first half, going to try to run a toss sweep, and the running back, Aaron Jackson, slipped and his knee hit back at the 35.
And the ideal that Campbell Memorial now is going back to being a power team, trying to out-physical you at the point of attack, puts a lot of stress on those offensive linemen. It really obviously needs the ideal of having to get into the weight room, get bigger, stronger, the ability to move people off the line of scrimmage. The last couple of coaches have basically run the spread. It's been a running-based offense, but it's been basically out of the spread formation. So they're learning a whole new ideal system-wise of football.
Short eye back, Darian Jones, this time with the toss sweep to the right. New running back in there. Cut back to the left, into the middle of the field, and down across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Antoine Carver, a freshman, on a nifty run. They're going to mark it at the 46.
Showed good swivel in the hips, the ability to be elusive in space, and then as it got a little bit tighter, as he got more towards the middle of the field, showed very good elusiveness.
And just to prove your point about Coach Rosam, the previous years before he came in the first time, they were 1-8, 0-10, 0-10, 0-9, 2-8.
Wow. And every time they wound up in the postseason before he went off to do something else. Offset eye right, fake to the, nope, they give it to the fullback. That is Sean Copeland, and he manages to string it out to the right across midfield into South Range territory, and a first down at the 48-yard line.
Copeland, a very tall running back, showed the ability, had a nice stiff arm that time, trying to elude one of the defenders, and then as they closed in, just tried to push one of them off and gain some extra yards.
Stadium GM Superstore presents the Clear Channel High School Sports webpage. You'll find podcasts of all this season's high school football broadcasts and lots more. See for yourself at 570WKBN.com. First down, Campbell at the South Range, 49, 7:40. We are on a continuous clock in the second half with South Range leading by 37. Again, they have that short I formation. Fake to the fullback. The quarterback, Jones, will keep it. Spins away from a tackle on the corner and keeps driving down to the 45. It wasn't a big gain, but it could have been no gain. Jones with a solid effort there.
Boy, in fairness to all the fans, though, not a great crowd tonight for Campbell or for South Range here at John Knappick Field, but I got to tell you, they have stayed in here. Even though this game's gotten a little bit out of hand, a lot of the fans that did show up tonight have really stayed in there.
One more stat on Coach Rosam, guys. Last one on him from me, at least. They have 5 years in their history. Campbell has won 10 games or more, 4 of them under Coach Rosam.
Proof is in the pudding. Second down and 6. Another Armstrong sideline update there. Jones with a handoff. Was bottled up initially, but the tailback then breaks free, gets inside the 40, down close to first down yardage. Actually inside the 40, and that should be a first down. It was Copeland again on the run.
So, Chris Rubin and also Blake Stitch for South Range in on the tackle. A couple of newbies getting some of their first opportunity on the South Range
First down at the 37. Tonight's high school football broadcast here in 570 WKBN, being brought to you in part by Northeast Ohio Adoption Services, Valentino Realty, Zinn's Design and Selection Center, Valley Truck Outfitters, Nemens IGA, Quaker Steak and Lube, and a couple of folks will tell you about right after this snap. First down, Campbell. Handoff, tailback, left side, through a seam, 30, and maybe the 29-yard line. Once again, Antoine Carver on the run. Also helping to present tonight's game, Pharmacy Care, Lafarge Construction Materials, and the Area Agency on Aging. Ball goes down just inside the 30. A pickup of, well, you know what? They actually, a pickup of, we'll call it 8.
Boy, in these types of games, you would think, well, what does the coaches get anything out of this? Well, when they look on film and they look into this fourth quarter and they see all these youngsters that they're putting in, trying very hard and showing some really good skill sets, is a lot of these Campbell players here late in the fourth.
Ball just inside the 30. Jones loses the snap, picks it up, and slants to his right, spins away from several tacklers, and gets it down to the 15-yard line, and another Campbell first down. Make a 25-yard line and a Campbell first down.
Boy, and Darian Jones, freshman, very thick player. We don't have his size, his height, and weight, but looks pretty thick out there. Bobbled the snap, but then turned it up for some very good yardage.
First down at the 24, 4:43 going on the continuous clock here. Your school, organization, or business can have a unique look with the help of Nightline Embroidery and Screen Print. Nightline on West Liberty Street in Girard. Handoff on first down, trying to get wide right, and it's Antoine Carver down to about the 15-yard line.
A lot of pep in the step of these Campbell Red Devils. Doing a very nice job going to a 2 tight end set. Just basically trying to block down on South Range here late in the fourth quarter.
Well, you know what? Keep it simple and do those simple things well. That's a philosophy that has won a lot of football games for a lot of coaches. It's second down and 2 after the 8-yard pickup. We'll have a player of the game presented by O'Charlie's Restaurants. Good food, good times. Located in Boardman and Niles. Second down, a couple yards to go. A little less than 2 from the 16. I think we have another quarterback in there. There's the toss to Carver going left. Cuts it back to his right into the middle and inside the 10-yard line, I think, where it will be first down and goal. Zion or Zion, probably Zion Williams, a sophomore, has checked in at quarterback. First and goal right at the 10.
Boy, and Antoine Carver's really played well here in this fourth quarter. Very diminutive in stature as far as just passing the eyeball test, but really gets in there and puts his head down at the end of runs and finishes them very well.
37 yards on just 4 carries. He's the tailback in the I set. First and goal from the 10. Gets it again. Hit as he crosses the line of scrimmage, got nicked around the ankles, and then there was somebody there to meet him standing up. We're down under 3 minutes to play. Gain of about 1 for Antoine Carver.
And again, with this continuous clock, we're down to the 2:45, Jim, here.
Ball just inside the 10, second down and goal. 2:35 left. And a reminder that if you have hail, water, or wind damage, call A&M Total Restoration at 330-507-6220. They present our post-game show, which is looming large just down the path. Toss sweep. Carver to the right. Has an escort. Cuts back to his left. Oops, nice tackle. Open field on the cutback at the 5, where it will be third and goal.
Peyton Remish coming up with the tackle for South Range. And the other thing, we're going to find out a lot, looking ahead, Jim, here, we're going to find out a lot about South Range through these first 2 games that they've had this year with JFK and now Campbell. The real test in their independent schedule will come really next week when they play Western Reserve. I mean, that is going to be a monumental game next week.
Third and goal from the 5 for Campbell. 1:35 to go as this continuous clock continues to roll. Campbell trying to get in. Going to go toss sweep. Carver spins out of a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Breaks another one at the line of scrimmage and squirts into the end zone for a touchdown. Antoine Carver, freshman. Keep that name in mind.
Tremendous bright spot for Campbell. Something that Coach Rosem can look on films tomorrow when they go in review and see really his skill set and his ability to turn upfield and continue to play hard. And a lot of these young men that they've substituted in now really have done a great job here in this fourth quarter.
Absolutely. Now you can say, well, they scored against the number 2s or the number 3s, but the guys that are doing it are number 2s and number 3s. And here's the upside for those guys. They are getting some significant under fire, it means something, playing time. Going to go for 2 again. This says a lot about their kicking game or lack thereof. They failed on 2 previous attempts. They fake it to Carver, and the quarterback, Zion Williams, tries to go in through the pile and will be stopped. So they have had 3 unsuccessful 2-point conversion tries. 1:20 left. The clock is stopped. It's now South Range 49, Campbell 18 on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. All right, as the teams line up for the kickoff, Campbell has its first real scoring drive of the night. Their 2 touchdowns have come on a first play from scrimmage 80-yard run by Aaron Jackson, first play from scrimmage in a new series, and a 93-yard kickoff return by Aaron Jackson to start the second half. This drive goes 62 yards in 12 plays, and it was a continuous clock, so it took a misleading 8 minutes and 35 seconds, but it was impressive nonetheless, and that is your Toyota Volvo Jaguar of Warren scoring drive summary, talking about something convincing. That place. They're good. Kickoff goes out of bounds at the 32, and we're going to get 2 flags on the sideline.
Very penalty-filled game tonight. Began penalty-filled, finishing penalty-filled. Something that neither coach, as they look back tomorrow, cannot be pleased with.
Clock is stopped now with 56 seconds to go. 3 officials talking this thing over. Tell you what, let's see. They are, thought they blew the whistle like they were ready to play. They're still going to talk, so let's let them do that for 30 more seconds, and we'll be right back. All right, well, the kick went out of bounds, so it would have been at the 35. The penalty went against Campbell, dead ball, takes it back to the 20. And that's where, or the penalty rather, went against South Range. So South Range will take the ball over at its own 20-yard line with 47 seconds left, clock already running. Spread snap, a little bit high, grabbed by their 3rd quarterback of the night, handing off to a new running back as well. The quarterback is Neil Bazzacco, and the running back is Nathan Alessie, a freshman. So there's more Alessie-ishness football to come for South Range fans. Loss of a yard there.
And that's got to be, at least since we've been doing South Range, that's got to be at least the 3rd Bazzacco, I think, that's run through the South Range program. So they've had a continuation of names and litanies come through the South Range program.
All right, this will be the final play of the football game, and it goes to the new Alessie, out to the 25, and that will be the end of the football game. South Range took a big lead early. Campbell showed some grit, determination, kept playing, but they wind up, the Red Devils, on the short end of a 49-18 score. Stay tuned, our A&M Total Restoration post-game show, including our O'Charlie's Player of the Game, coming up next on the Baird Brothers High School Football Game of the Week.